Hello and welcome to this new easy silhouette tutorial. Using any sort of brush that you have at home that is not expensive. I use this something, I think it's a Chinese brand, and size 2 brush, and using masking fluid we are going to cover our silhouette. I didn't scan this silhouette because I think it's such an easy shape that you don't actually need to you don't need help outlining it, or at least I hope so. It's a woman or a long-haired man, it could be, but I think it has a soft shape, so it's rather a womanly shape, and she has her hand up above her head and in a prayer motion. It's together, and we are going to cover it with masking fluid, and in the end it's actually, I think it's the longest from all of what you have to do. The longest is that you need to remove this masking fluid, and it takes a very long time, so just be prepared. But this part here, right here, what we are doing is going to make your job actually so much easier, because after that you don't need to obviously care about the shape. You can just freely hand paint. Anyhow, if you are experienced or if you feel like you don't need this thing, you can totally skip it as well. We are not going to go in with very dark colors, so if you sketch your shape and the sunset in front of the lady or man, then I think you will totally see through the shape after we are done, because we are going to go in with very light and bright colors such as yellow, orange and purple. So after that you should be able to see it and just go in with, your darker color that you want the silhouette to be. But anyhow, this is the easiest way to do a silhouette painting, or this kind of silhouette painting. At least is what I know to be the easiest one. So we are almost done covering our shape, and then we are going to also cover the sun, which is left. If you look at the painting right now, it's left from the lady. And after that we're going to have to wait until it's totally dry, because if you go in with watercolors when the masking fluid is still wet, then if you will smudge the masking fluid all over the place, and then there is no point. So now you can see, you saw probably the cut of the video, so it's dry now, my masking fluid. And this is a size 10 brush by Escoda Perla. If you have seen any of my videos, then you know I use this all the time. It's my favorite brush. And I'm just going to wet the whole background area just with pure water. Well, I think it's a bit tinted from painting something else. Painting sky, probably. I can see a bit of a blue there. But if you have clean water, that's perfect. Oh, and I did glue the painting down with Tesa. At least in my country it's called Tesa. It's a brand, so it's a masking tape, and you can also totally skip it, but I just wanted to show another painting where I have a frame, and this is another very easy way to add a bit of a frame to your painting, is just to tape down the four sides of your painting, and it's going to look very chic, very modern and very beautiful. So now just adding purple shade. Any purple will do that is a bit of a reddish blue. I'm using Schmincke. I have no idea of the name of the shade, but I will search it for you. It will be written in the description on my Patreon side. And basically I'm just adding this first of all to the lower part of the sky. So below the lady you can see the line, the first line from the bottom. That's going to be what she's sitting on, so it's going to be dark, just like her body. However, the sky is going to be this beautiful purpley, orangey, yellowish sky. And using wet on wet technique, we are going to blend in a few shades to make it very beautiful. As you can see now, I'm going in with this reddish orange color. And I'm blending it in with the purple. So what makes a painting muddy is when you cover the whole sky with purple, and then you cover the whole sky with orange, and then you cover the whole sky with yellow. So what we are going to do with like a high intensity of the color, what we are going to do is try to blend in as much as possible and add layers, which means that we are using very diluted colors. As you can see, I'm adding a bit of a yellow now. And the main important thing is not to add very concentrated colors, but rather use diluted versions. So then as you add more and more color to the sky, it's going to look beautiful and melted together instead of just one blurry mess of a color that you don't even recognize anymore. So yeah, we are just going to keep blending and keep using these different kinds of shades of purple, yellow and orange. And just keep going until the top of the sky, so that the whole area has some color. At least the whole sky area has some color in it. And of course the top of the sky is going to be dark again, because we don't want any attention there. So a useful tip is just to add warm colors such as yellows, oranges and reds to the area where you want to bring attention, and add cool tones such as purples, blues and greens to the area where you don't want attention to broad. That said, if you're using something where the main subject is blue, for example, you want a girl with a blue t-shirt, then you should add warmer tone blues to the areas that is most highlighted, and cool tone blues where you don't want any attention. So how does that look like in real life? For example, if you want so blue itself is a cool tone color. It's a simple cool tone color, but if you add yellow, it's going to turn more and more green. So that's kind of, it's still cool tone, but it's kind of on the warmer side because we added yellow. And likewise, purple is made from blue and red. So the more red you add to it, the more warm tone it's going to be. So the coolest area is of course going to be plain blue, and the warmer you want it to be, the more red or yellow you will add. But it's easier to demonstrate it perhaps with green or purple. So let's say purple half and half, red and blue. The more red you are going to add to your purple, the more warm tone it's going to be, and the more blue you will add the more cool tone it will be. So shadows are always cool tones and highlights are always warm tones. And now, as you can see, I'm adding more saturated colors and I'm defining more of where the clouds are and how I want it to look like, basically. So wherever you will see purple, it's most likely is going to be a cloud. And I chose indigo, which is a very cool tone blue. It has blue and black in it, and I chose that for my silhouette. And also I'm going to use this for the part, the ground that the woman is going to sit on. And that's going to add a very nice contrast with the sky, but you can choose any color that you like. I suggest blues or purples, but whatever you like, whatever you prefer. And I suggest these two cool tones just for the reasons that I said before, that these are, you can also use greens, but from greens you instantly think of nature. So if you want something more about natural colors, green, grass and trees and bushes, then you could color your silhouette green color. But I suggest either blues or purples because these two colors are what is considered to be beautiful and natural shadow colors. So when you paint a house and you want to paint the cast shadow from the house, you're not going to use gray. Well, you could use gray if you wanted to, but it's a more exciting and interesting way to demonstrate shadow is to using blues and purples. And if you look at any other artist's paintings and you start noticing how they paint and what they do, and that makes you look at the painting, what is exciting about that painting, you will notice that a lot of artists use these two shades, blues and colors, blues and purples, as shadows, because that just makes the whole painting pop more. So I continue adding purple, more and more purple to my painting, and I'm starting to see how it's going to look like in the end. And now, as you can see, I'm adding a more cool tone purple, and that is to demonstrate that above the girl the darkness, the night starts to fall upon her. So anything that you can see that is above her is going to be this dark cool tone purple, and that's actually the color of the night sky. While if you look at anything below her or in front of her, that's like the color of the beautiful sunset. And now it's time to add more saturated yellows and oranges to the background, because now, as you can see, it started to look a little bit muddy. So now, defining where the sky is and where the clouds are, I'm going to add more warm colors to our sunset sky. And it's a very easy way to paint the night sky, wet on wet. You really can't go wrong with it. The only thing that I would say is to be careful about, mudding these colors. So putting more purple over the orange and etc. Because if you look at the color wheel, you will notice that right opposite the purple is the orange. which means if you mix them together you will get gray. And that's what we don't really want in, at least I don't want it in my paintings, because I love colors, and I love gray, but only for my clothes. I don't love them for my paintings. So I started to lose my purple night sky there, so I just added more purple there, as you can see. And then I'm just going to add a bit more purple, more saturated purple there, with the warm tones, with the warmish kind of purple, so that I don't lose my my clouds there. And just keep working until you feel that you are ready. And this is a very simple painting, so you don't need to overthink it. It's just a quick practice if you want to work on like a larger painting and you want to know how to create a sky and you want to work on it. This is a perfect practice. And when I'm done, when I'm happy, I'm just going to wait until the background dries, and then we will remove the masking fluid. For removing the masking fluid, I use this retracting eraser, and I originally bought this for the purpose of my sketches. You know, these have like, it looks like a triangle, so it's very easy to erase fine details and small things that, you know, with the big rectangle eraser you simply just can't. And then I saw it in Anna Bucciarelli's video that she uses it to remove masking fluid. And I thought, oh God, finally this is perfect, because I've been using my fingers for that and I can see that it removes some of the paint as well, and you know, your fingers are oily naturally, so you will just damage your painting. By using this, you will not touch your paintings and it's just perfect. It takes quite a while to remove such a large area, but usually I use masking fluid only smaller areas of paintings, such as like animal fur and just small details, not such a big thing as a silhouette of a woman. But for this video we are just going to go with it, and I think totally it took me about 15 minutes to remove this masking fluid. And we are going to use a tissue to wipe out all of the little bits that came off of our painting. We are not going to touch the actual painting with our fingers because that will damage it. And as you can see, as you can start to see now, our painting is coming together, even though our silhouette and the sun is still white. You can already see, at least I'm so excited about this night sky, or sunset sky, sorry. And now all we have left to do is paint the sun and the silhouette. So using this size 4 Escoda Perla brush, I'm going to add lemon yellow by any brand. I think I'm using Schmincke here, but the only reason I use so much Schmincke is because I have it. It's not my favorite brand, but I just want to, get rid of any leftovers that I have. So that's why I'm using this brand. If I can recommend you anything, then Winsor & Newton or Daniel Smith would be the two brands that are my current favorites. And I will use indigo for the ladies shape. And just like you can see from the ground that is not one single shade of indigo, I played around and painted the silhouette with different shades of indigo. But before that, we will add some orange contour to our sun. So now let's do this exciting part of covering the lady with indigo color. And it's quite a dark cool tone blue, but I love it. I think it's so much more exciting than just pure gray. And you can play around and put darker colors wherever you want and put some highlights in other directions. It doesn't need to be realistic because it's a silhouette painting, so it's not going to be realistic anyway. So you might as well just play with the highlights and shadows here. And one of the reasons why I love Escoda Perla so much is that it has a soft full body but a pointy end. So you can use a single brush to cover this whole lady. For example, you need a fuller brush for her body, and when you go into the details of the edges and the corners, then you would have to switch to a smaller size, a contour brush. But since Escoda has such a pointy end, and it's kind of a hard end as well, so it doesn't change shape when you press it down. So that you could use the same brush for the details as well as the larger areas. And it's just a genius invention, in my opinion. So as you can see, the more you play around with highlights and shadows, the more mysterious and whimsical your silhouette will be. And especially for this subject, for yoga or for prayer, I think it's a wonderful thing to add a mood. It adds a mood to your painting when you don't use like a flat one color silhouette, but rather you use the transparency of this medium of watercolor, and some areas are richer and darker while other areas are lighter. And to be honest, I purposefully made the head portion the darkest because we tend to have our head so full of thoughts, and it's just, especially for today's people, it's just very hard to let go and stop thinking and practice yoga the way it should be practiced, where with just an empty head, and concentrate on your breathing and on the practice that you're doing. At least for me, it's quite impossible. But yeah, each to their own. If you feel like that you are just at the right place right now, you could make the head the lightest area. It's just the way I placed it. It doesn't have to be copied exactly. And when we are done, we can start removing the masking tape from the four corners, and it will really reveal our little frame, white frame, that I was looking forward to seeing in the end. And after that, our painting is ready. Thank you for watching. Let me know how you liked it, and if you tried it, please show me in the comments or send me the photo of your final result. And I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.